Brother's girlfriend dressed my toddler as a girl while babysitting and ignored my warnings. So I called the police on her twice. My family lives in Maryland. We have lived there since I was born and I have never really lived anywhere else, though I have visited various places. My mom, dad and siblings live 30 minutes away from me. My husband and I like having family around, so it doesn't bother us when my siblings or his come over. I have 2 siblings. The first one is a boy and the next one a girl. My brother is so adorable and the nicest person I have ever met. You could say that he is a little naive and very easily taken advantage of, so I always feel like I have to protect him right from when we were in high school. He went through a really bad breakup last year with his girlfriend of 3 years. He was depressed and wouldn't talk to anyone. He loved her and she cheated on him. 6 months ago he started paying attention to his dating life again. He met a lady who he introduced to me after a month of dating. She seemed cute. She was a nerd like my brother but a little more outspoken. My brother loved having her around me because he thought I would notice things that he wouldn't. He was still being really careful after his last breakup and I don't blame him. Once in a while she would visit me and we became really close to each other. My husband and I became comfortable with her. There were no odd signs or anything of that sort. We felt safe leaving our toddler with her because she adored him and he adored her as well. In fact, whenever she wasn't around he would ask to speak to her. One day I had to attend an event, so I asked her to babysit for me. She had been in my house several times, so she knew where to find everything. We had a playroom for all his toys and games so they could go in there to have some fun. I left the function early because I missed my baby and I had left early in the morning, so he hadn't seen me throughout the day, though I called at noon to check if everything was okay. When I got home I walked into my brother's girlfriend doing makeup on my toddler. She had dressed him in female clothes. I screamed and asked what in the world she was doing. I immediately called the cops. My child is a boy and I don't want anybody dressing him up as a girl and giving him any ideas. This made me very uncomfortable because I wondered what she has been doing with my toddler whenever we weren't around, since this was her 3rd or 4th time babysitting for us. When the police came I was a little calmer and I narrated what she did to them. They said I couldn't really press charges for that, seeing as she didn't harm him in any way. They however warned her and made her sign a statement that said she wouldn't do it again. I wanted her out of my house, never to see her again, but I knew that it may not be possible because of my brother. I regret ever letting her babysit my son. I knew that this may cause troubles between my brother and I because he was really starting to open up to her, and then this happened. I didn't care. If he still wanted to date her, that was his decision, but I wasn't going to feel bad for trying to protect my child. Before she left she explained why she dressed my son as a girl and did makeup on him. She said that she always wanted to have a girl child, and that day she was very emotional about it as she can't have kids. She just wanted to see how my son would look in a cute female dress. I felt a little guilty, but the deed had already been done. She kept apologizing, so I accepted her apology but told her that I am no longer comfortable having her around my family, especially my son. She said she understood and left. An hour later my brother called me and he was so upset. He asked me why I would try to lock up his girlfriend and that he thought I would have his back. I replied saying he is my brother and I also thought he would have my back. I told him that his girlfriend had no right to dress up my son in female clothes no matter what was going on with her. I also told him that she only got a warning and it's not like she is in jail. He wasn't having it and said he was disappointed in me because it was a matter that could have been easily solved between us, and I went ahead to call the police. While I understood his point of view, I wasn't going to let anyone make me feel bad for wanting to protect my child no matter the cost and if it had any consequences for others around me. My brother and I usually made up very quickly whenever we had an argument, but this one was different. He was really upset with me. Update 1. Mom tried to get us to reconcile over the phone, but none of us were budging, so she had everyone come to my house since it was a central point. My brother would always be my brother, so he apologized for being all kinds of rude to me over the phone, and he understands how uncomfortable what his girlfriend did must have been for me. I accepted his apology and also apologized and admitted that maybe I took it too far, but I explained that I would go any height to protect my child. His girlfriend was there and apologized again. My husband nudged me to accept her apology and give her a hug, which I did. I still didn't trust her, but I wanted everyone to believe that all was now good, so I told her she could still come to my house whenever she wants. That made my brother and his girlfriend really happy. A few months passed and I started to trust her again. All was almost forgotten and I decided to give her the benefit of the doubt. She came over to babysit again while I went to run some errands for the house. I needed to withdraw some money and then I realized I had left my purse at home. I went back home and walked in on her doing the same thing again. My son was dressed like a girl with makeup on and she was teaching him to catwalk. When she saw me she was taken aback. She had gone too far now. I told her that I didn't want this and he's my child. I am his guardian, so I decide what goes on with him. I called the police again, and this time they took her with them because they had made her sign that she would not dress him up as a female again, and she defaulted. I was so happy they did. I thought it would teach her a lesson. At this point I didn't mind what anyone else in my family thought, including my brother. I knew what was best for my son, and that was exactly what I did. This time I didn't let her tell him the story herself. I called my brother and told him that I called the police on his girlfriend again because she did the same thing, and this time she was teaching him how to catwalk. While I understand that she feels bad about not being able to have kids, I am becoming concerned about her mental health and if she is the best for my brother. If she couldn't handle her stress normally, she may have to see a therapist. Because she can't have kids doesn't mean that she needs to dress every kid into what she had imagined to have with her daughter. That is not healthy. Of course my brother wasn't happy, but his argument didn't hold much water. The bottom line was that there was something going on with his girlfriend and it needed to be fixed immediately. Update 2. My brother went to the station to bail her. When she came out, she told him that she was sorry and she thinks that she needs professional help because she didn't mean to hurt my family and destroy our relationship, because she thinks that is what she did. It's true that she destroyed our relationship because I was very close to my brother, but since that first incident our relationship was no longer the same. I could feel that he was distant and I didn't know what to do about it. She mentioned how she couldn't bear the thought of not being able to carry her own kids, and it was affecting her greatly. While I understood the reason for her actions and knew that her mental health was crappy, I was still going to do whatever it took to protect my kid. I had to set up some boundaries. She was never going to be left alone with my son again, and the amount of time she visited me had to be cut down. I didn't want my son to keep missing her and asking for her, so I requested that she should not visit my house or try to see my son in any way for the next 6 months. My family didn't question my decision this time, and in fact my mom and husband supported me. The first time they had thought that it was just an honest mistake, but having it happen again even after the stern warning proved otherwise. The condition for releasing her from the police station was that she would get all the help she needed. I have come to love her like a sister. She was a really sweet person and I was sad that she was going through this, but it was better that it came out now and that she gets the professional help that she requires. I recommended a therapist to my brother and he took her there, and she is doing much better now. My brother found out that the major reason she started to act strange was that she thought he wouldn't want to be with her anymore because she couldn't have kids, or that my mom and I wouldn't approve of her because of that. We reassured her that we loved her still and there were ways for us to bypass the issue with having kids, and my brother was more than ready to explore those options. I, 28 female, and my husband, 30 male, K, have been married for 2 years, together for 5. It was made very clear at the beginning of our relationship that I care a lot about physical fitness. Kay and I have always been very fit people who regularly attend the gym and eat well, so that has never been a problem. 5 months ago, my husband decided to go off of his anxiety meds. I know people typically gain weight while on certain medications, but he, thankfully, never had that problem. However, since going off of his meds, I've noticed he has been to the gym less and has been eating some junk food. Because of this, he has gained a significant amount of weight. I tried to urge him to go to the gym more and cut out the junk food, but he didn't take it well and would just kind of go silent and nod when I suggested it. Recently, one of my brother-in-laws, 33 male, D, came over. He noticed my husband has gained a lot of weight since his last visit a few months ago. A couple nights ago after dinner, K was getting an unhealthy snack after dinner. D noticed K eating a lot of snacks and told K that he needed to chill and cut down on the carbs. My husband got offended and said it was none of his brother's business what he ate and that gaining 10-15 pounds isn't a big deal. I tried to stay out of it, but then Kay asked why I wasn't defending him. I finally broke. I gently said that honestly I agreed with D and that my husband's weight gain was a problem. Gaining 10 pounds in 5 months was pretty extreme, and if I had known this would happen I never would have encouraged Kay to go off of his meds. Kay got really upset and went off to our room and ended up staying there the rest of the night, which I felt was kind of dramatic, but anyways. Later, when I went to bed, Kay asked why I said all of those rude things. I didn't think I was rude, so I got kind of offended, to be honest, that he was suddenly accusing me. I ended up losing my cool and saying I couldn't believe he didn't see the problem. His weight gain was causing me stress and making me not attracted to him anymore. He used to look amazing, but now I can barely see his abs, which I know isn't a big deal to some people, but to me it is. Kay started crying and told me to get out, and I ended up sleeping in the guest room. He still won't talk to me. Am I the a-hole for finally telling my husband the truth about his health? Edit 1. I went to work and now suddenly this thing has blown up. To everyone DMing me saying I should get a divorce, you don't know my relationship with my husband and clearly you do not understand it. I love my husband, I love him a lot. I do not want to divorce him. Are people not allowed to be attracted to specific things? Edit 2. My husband talked to his psychiatrist before going off the meds. He ended up kind of going cold turkey with it, but not exactly. He weaned himself off over a week. Edit 3, no, I do not have an eating disorder. Edit 4, I have asked my husband what's wrong and he says nothing. How am I supposed to help him if he doesn't communicate? I assume he talks to his therapist/psychiatrist about this stuff and I don't want to cause more problems. My sister Jennifer, 25 female, has a new boyfriend Dan, 25 male. They've been dating almost 3 months and about a month ago she brought him around so my wife, 29 female, and me, 29 male, could meet him. He seemed okay and we didn't have any problems then. While they were over I showed them the train horn I bought to install in my wife's vehicle. I wish I could have one in mine, but I drive a company truck so no dice. I have fun if I have to drive my wife's vehicle now because of the horn. Dan said we should reconsider because the horn would be illegal here. Since he's first year in law school, me and my wife thought it was a flex. But we ignored it because he seemed okay otherwise. We didn't know Dan has been a paralegal for over 3 years and works at a law firm that primarily handles traffic and driving cases. We thought he was just showing off honestly because he's in law school now. My wife was stopped by the cops and got a citation, got the train horn and they towed her vehicle because without a legal horn it was considered unsafe. My wife has to go to court for the illegal horn and we had to pay out the ass for the towing and impound fees plus a mechanic to fix the horn back to a default because I tried and could not. When Jennifer found out she said it was our own fault because Dan told us the horn was illegal. I countered to the two of them that he should have been clearer about his credentials at the traffic firm and we would have listened. But we thought he was flexing and talking out of his ass because he's in law school now. I blame him for not being clearer. We wouldn't have had this problem if he'd actually told us. Jennifer says we need to apologize to Dan for blaming him. I disagree. For the record, my parents agree. I've been married to my wife for almost 11 years whereas Jennifer hasn't even known Dan for 3 months. We don't know him well. My wife is family. I certainly don't think she should apologize, nor should I, because Dan could have communicated better here and now.